Hello everyone, welcome to Parents Making an Investment. Today I want to talk with you on the topic of passing the baton. There are hobbies that we enjoy as parents, adults, grandparents supporting adults, and skills that we possess that we're just naturally good at. And sometimes because we're so naturally good at it, we don't even consider what skills we possess in the moment. But have you ever thought that it is so important to pass these on to our children? Yes, the skills that you possess are important and they are worth sharing with your children and with your grandchildren. We may not reap the benefit right now in our lives, but our children will reap the benefit in their own life. And we want to position them in such a way that they will be able to access independence and equipping them now. And so I want to share with you a brief story that I have. I went to two brief stories rather. I went to a funeral recently, and everyone that got up and talked about my godmother had so many good things to say about her. They talked about how she was so good at cooking, and I knew this because she baked for me a birthday cake for my birthday every year when I was little. And they talked about, how she built relationships with people through her cooking. She would invite them over every week, every weekend. She would cook for weddings and special occasions and stuff like that. But what stunned me is when the pastor got up and said, who else knew how to do this? And did she pass on this baton? And funny thing is, no one answered because we have gifts, we have skills, but when we're gone, we don't benefit anyone else if we have not passed those skills and the know-hows to the people that are living past us, like our children, for instance. So we know these things, but when we're no longer here, who is going to live that out and who will know it? And so this is why I'm imploring us as parents today to pass on the baton, pass on what you know. I remember even being a child and my mom would say to me, come in here in this kitchen and learn how to do this. And I wasn't interested. Honestly, I wasn't, because my whole intention as being a child is being a child. I wanted to run off and go play outside, but not realizing the urgency. And maybe she didn't realize the urgency behind teaching me these things. Now, I did pay attention. I didn't have to stay there at the present moment, but most of the cooking that I do know now and the basic cooking stem from observing and watching her. And even knowing how to sew on a button on my children's clothes, and even when their clothes was too big, and even being able to stitch in, the waist or what have you. Those are all things that I'm sharing with you today, that these little things that may not seem as important right now, they are important. And it is important for us to pass these on to our children so they can access, once again, I'm saying this, they can access a level of independence. Because believe it or not, some people take their clothes to the cleaners just to get a button sewed on. And I'm not saying that anything is wrong with that. But what I'm saying is when our children don't have these tools in their toolboxes and we don't pass on the baton, we actually are making life a little bit more challenging for them. Because guess what? That means everything that they want to know how to do, they're going to have to spend money to do it. They're going to have to spend the money and have the resources to be able to go to the tailor or go to the cleaners to get that done. And they're going to spend more money. They're also going to be eating out more because they don't really know how to cook. They don't know how to boil a pot of water. They don't know how to cook hot dog. All those simple, basic things that we think that won't affect them. It will, because if you think about it, knowing when a water boils, knowing when to turn it down, knowing when a hot dog is cooked and how long it should stay on, it seems simple, but through this is where I learned to cook. And through being able to gauge in time and how long it should stay on for, and being able to recognize when it's cooked, I was able to then gauge that and move to other things, knowing how long, a noodle should be cooked for. And yeah, these things come on a box, but the simple thing of even boiling water and recognizing what water looks like at a boiling point. It sounds funny. And it sounds like, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous what you're talking about. But believe it or not, there's some people that don't know how to do that. So it's either they're eating out all the time, either they're going to the cleaners all the time, either they're getting other people to do these things, clean their house. These things sound simple, parents, adults, but believe it or not, if we don't pass on these information and these know-hows to our children, we are setting them up to not be able to access a certain level of independence. And even when they go off to school, being able to independently cook something, microwave something, and then they end up spending more money while they are away at school. And so my intention for sharing this with you today is I want to implore us as parents to pass on that baton, pass on those little things that we might overlook that can propel our children into a place of independence, that will access them to even grow from that. It starts somewhere. And like I'm saying about this is where it started for me. Boiling a pot of water and being able to make scrambled eggs, that's where it started for me. And now I'm able to look at other recipes online and start from knowing those basic things and be able to build from that. And that's what we want our children to do, to be able to build from the basic things that we are going to pass on to them. So won't you join me today? Pass that on to your child today. Pass it on to your grandchild today. Pass it on to your stepchild today. And you will be able to have them to be able to access a certain level of independence. And no, we may not reap it now. So therefore, don't look at what I'm getting out of it, but look at what your children and your grandchildren will get out of it later on. Don't forget to like this video and to share it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe below. And so that way we can stay connected as parents and supporting adults on this journey of parenting and making an investment.